Hey guys, Dustler Magic here. We're going to have some super high-speed spoilers here because they spoiled 52 cards today, about 1/4 of the remaining cards in the set, which is ridiculous. So let's jump into it. First up, we've got a card that really honestly just sounds and looks like a, what do you call it? The people from Kamigawa, the moon people, but okay, whatever. It's Trollosara, Moon Dancer. I'm sure she's in some book somewhere. And she's a legendary creature, elf cleric, and whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on her and then scry 1. So literally a Johnny's Pride mate with scry added, and people wanted a Johnny's Pride mate banned. And this encourages you to, on top of running mono white life gain, also splash green. And green's the most powerful color creature-wise right now. So this is insane. Next up, we've got Valorous Bard. Of course, disclaimer, who knows if these translations are right? They usually aren't. It's a 3-cost Tiefling Bard, and it has Inspire because it's a Bard. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So pretty weak, but so are Bards. Next up, the man, the myth, the legend. It's Tarask. Oh boy. I heard that in 5th edition, if you can just fly like 50 feet, he literally cannot touch you. So a level 1 character with enough arrows could take him down. Slight oversight if you thought that there's design problems in just one of Wizards of the Coast products. Wrong. Anyway, this one's pretty obnoxious. It's a 9-cost, doesn't have trample, but doesn't matter. Dinosaur, because of course, even though it's an elemental. And when Tarask enters the battlefield, if it was cast... Okay, not if it was cast from hand, not if it entered from hand. If it was cast. There are effects that still let you, like, free cast from your hand, and it's still considered casting. It's cast it without paying its mana cost or whatever. So, yeah, anyway, if that happens, it gains haste and ward 10. In other words, hexproof. So... that's annoying, and then whenever it attacks, it fights target creature defending player controls. So you can free cast this, you can reduce cast cost it. I mean, there's all this broken stuff you can do, and it'll still have ward 10. They might as well have just given it hexproof. So the fact that you can just strap a 1-cost colorless spear to it, and now it has trample and lifelink. I mean, the game's so broken right now. Normally this would be pushing it, but it wouldn't be over the edge. This is like over the edge and around the corner. So next up, Hive of the Eye Tyrant. It turns out these man lands, I think one of them was leaked or something, they are a full cycle. Yay. So this is a fast land. If you control 2 or more lands, it comes in tapped, otherwise it doesn't. Taps for black. And if you pay 4, it becomes a 3/3 Beholder with Menace, and when this creature attacks, exile target card from defending player's graveyard. Yeah, a lot of the instant effects that can deal with this during your opponent's turn, which is the only time it would be a creature, obviously, they say non-land. So... it's really hard to get rid of these. These are incredibly annoying. Next up, we got Hall of the Storm Giants. Same thing. It's blue, and if you pay 6, you get a 7/7 blue giant creature with ward 3. Well, that's annoying, but it costs 6. I mean, what are you going to do? Next up, we've got Minion of the Mighty. So this is a 0/1 for 1 kobold with Menace. It's a rare, and it has Pack Tactics. Hey, that is an actual thing in D&D. I assume most of this is. Whenever Minion of the Mighty attacks, if you attacked with creatures with total power 6 or greater this combat, there's that thing Mark told us about, you may put a dragon creature card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. Doesn't say anything about return to hand or exile at end of turn. So literally just free casting any dragon with no limit at all. No mana cost limit, no power limit, no color or color mix limit. You get to drop it into play as long as you attack with this asshole and 6 total power. Are you kidding me? That is the most broken free casting card I've seen in a long time. At least they didn't add a damn tutor to it, but this is just ridiculous. This is going to be a $30 card, and then they're going to ban it. I mean, you can't have something like this in any format. This is not supported by math and fair gameplay. It's like, yeah, okay, you have to have the dragon in your hand. So what? You can probably summon like the biggest dragon in the game on like turn 3 with this thing. Utterly ridiculous. Next up, Owlbear. It's a 5-cost trampler, and it has Keen Sense. When Owlbear enters the battlefield, draw a card, because green needed more card draw. Seriously, Wizards have lost their fucking minds. Next up, Sphere of Annihilation. Oh, I can't wait to read this one. So black plus X, it's an artifact. It's a black-lined artifact, obviously, and when it enters the battlefield, it enters with X void counters on it. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, exile Sphere of Annihilation, and also all creatures and planeswalkers with mana value less than or equal to the number of void counters on it, and also all creatures and planeswalker cards in graveyards with mana value less than or equal to the number of void counters on it. That is an idiotic way to phrase that. Why didn't they just say or graveyards? Anyway, a universal board wipe that costs as low as 1 mana. That's pretty f***ed. There's another $30 card. Next up, Purple Worm. 7 cost 8/7 worm. It costs 2 less to cast if if a creature died this turn. Binary condition, does not stack. Can't get it 4 lower as far as I know. Then it has Ward 2. I do like Ward, but I don't like the set so far. Next up, Xanathar. Oh boy, the Guild Kingpin. I thought he was like a chaotic neutral scientist, not Jabba the Hutt. Running the frickin' Thieves Guild or whatever. Or what kind of guild does he? I don't know. I don't know anything about him, but like, I didn't think he was a villain. I thought he made money by writing books. Then again, in 2021, the drug dealers are smuggling avocados because it's worth more money, so who knows? So this is a 6 cost 5/6 beholder, so okay, not playable in every deck, and those aren't ramp colors, so okay. I heard this one's bad, that's why I seem a little skeptical, but I haven't read it yet. So let's experience this together. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose target opponent. Until end of turn, that player can't cast spells. Ha 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 ha, anti-magic field. You may look at the top card of their library anytime. You may play the top card of their library. And whatever it says you may play, that means timing goes out the window. If it's a creature, you can play it on the stack at instant speed. Doesn't matter. You may play the top card. Okay, great. And you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast spells this way. So to translate this, you can't cast spells during their turn. But during your own turn, total free-for-all, blow that hoe up. But the whole time, they can cast whatever they want in unlimited quantities from the top of your library, which is going to get really old really quick, but what are the odds that your deck is compatible with theirs, and 1/3 of the time it's going to be a land? And it says cast, not play, so they can't do anything if it's a land. Also, they can't cast your spells on your turn because that's all part of the same effect. So, pretty annoying. I don't know, this isn't as bad as people said it was. It's unreliable, and it costs 6. It's not even flying, it has no evasion. Ish. Okay, literally has like 50% evasion, but still. I mean, if you pop a kill spell and that's what's next, they aren't gonna let you keep it. They'll pay whatever they can to try and, make you either shuffle or cast it themselves and blow up one of your creatures, and then they'll leave you without a kill spell. So he might be harder to remove than you think, but I'm not that impressed by him. It's just a good card. Next up, Den of the Bugbear. Oh boy. Oh yeah, we already saw this one. We saw the fancy version. So yeah, pay 4 turns into 3/2 goblin, and when it attacks, you get a 1/1 goblin. And that goblin is forced to attack, it will die. Next up, Mimic. I am 5,000% sure that's not how you spell it, but that's probably how they spelled it in the first D&D, so whatever. Oh, f*** me, it's in German. Okay, so it is Mimic with a C. I was like, what the heck is an artifact shots? So it's a 2-cost artifact treasure. If you tap it, sack it, you can add 1 mana of any color. Okay, and then if you pay 2, Mimic becomes a shapeshifter artifact creature token with base power and toughness 3/3 until end of turn. So shapeshifter, but not changeling. Is that like important or something? Because, I mean, we all know all the baggage that comes with changelings. I'm actually glad they didn't do that. Well, unless you're playing this face down, which even then, I mean, I just wish they would like represent this card with a token, but then you'd have to like hide it somewhere, like in your hand, and I don't know. I just want to ambush somebody. If they're looking right at it, they're not going to be surprised by, oh, I wonder if that's a real treasure. Oh no, it's a Mimic. Like, it says Mimic right on the top of the damn card. You ain't going to surprise anyone. That's a shame, but other than that, I mean, yeah, 3/3 for 2. They're hyper powerful. They're dangerous. It makes sense. I think Mimics, canonically, although I've got a lot of games to draw this from, and the one I'm thinking of is not D&D, I think these are technically oozes, and that's how they can like change their shape. I don't know if that's canon, but if they did, I mean, they went with shapeshifter instead of ooze. I would have went with both, just saying. Next up, Narcoleptic Dragon, aka Charmed Sleep. It's a 3-cost enchant creature. Tap it, and then it does an untap. I think we've actually seen this card before. I think it's a reprint. Did you notice we're missing a lot of good blue pin down, though? So I'm glad to see it. Next up, Flame Skull. It's a mythic. Ooh. I remember these. I think a Lich summons them or something, and they're like copies of him, kind of, or I don't know. But it is mythic, so I'm thinking, yeah, okay. It's a skeleton, which that's generous. It's clearly a skull. I mean, it's 10% of a skeleton. Anyway, flying, can't block, okay, and then rejuvenation. When it dies, exile it. If you do, exile the top card of your library until end of your next turn. You may play 1 of those cards. Ooh. Now, you can only play 1 of them. You could either replay the Flame Skull or you could play that spell, but once you've chosen, that is it. And also, it can be a land, because it did say play, and it did say card. Well, I can't stand creatures that keep coming back over and over and over, but at least he can't block, but that just encourages them to bash me in the air for 3 every single turn, which is going to get really damn old really damn quick. So I kind of hate this. Also, it's not legendary, really. So next up, another mythic. Almost every single card we spoiled so far has been a rare mythic. There is going to be literally nothing left to spoil tomorrow. I don't know why the hell they did that, but Icingdeath Frost Tyrant. It's not called Icingdeath, it's called Diabetic Shock. So this is a legendary creature, Dragon, and it's a 4/3 for 4 flying vigilance, and when Captain Icinghair dies, create an Icingdeath Frost Tongue, a legendary white equipment artifact token with equipped creature gets +2/+0. Whenever equipped creature attacks, tap target defending target creature defending player controls, and it also has equip too. What a weird way to phrase that, but okay. So this is the one where the creature dies and becomes equipment. I think that's wonderful. I think that should exist more, probably. In creature removal heavy metas, which we definitely have right now, nobody runs equipment, nobody runs auras. It's just not worth it. You've just got to spam them with more creatures. Or like card draw or saver spells or something. There's just no room. So if you're going to get a creature killed anyway, you might as well then make it stick around and be some crappy little, +2, okay, tapperoni sort of a thingy, which that is a technical term. But yeah, actually that equipment is pretty strong for equip too. I mean, auto tap their biggest blocker while your creature is bigger? When we've got universal lifelink and trample in the form of a 1-cost colorless artifact that can go in every deck? Yeah, this thing's insane. Next up, treasure chest. It's probably not a mimic. If you pay 3, you can drop it in, and then, yes, pay 4, sack treasure chest, roll a d20. Did I call it or did I call it? Call me now for your free psychic reading. Because, bitch, I am literally Miss Cleo. I said, it's a D&D set. They're going to have us roll a d20, and then it was all but confirmed when we saw that the spin down that comes in, I believe, the pre-release kit and the fat pack is going to be not a spin down, but a rollable, like plate arranged or face arranged, numerically arranged d20. So here it is, and I love it. So you got to pay to play here. It's 4 mana, but then sack it. Oh, that's a shame. And roll a d20. I wanted to keep this going. I wanted the trading post. So if you roll a 1, trapped, you lose 3 life. Should have had my current D&D player inspected for you. He does not miss a thing. 2 through 9 create 5 treasure tokens. Holy crap, that's on a 2 through 9? Jeez, okay. And then 10 through 19, which is a little bit bigger range, you gain 3 life and draw 3 cards. Okay, what if you really need mana? Those two, that's not even like an improvement. That is just a completely different thing. But okay. And then if you roll exactly a 20, which is considered a nat 20, a crit, a whatever, search your library for a card. If it's an artifact card, you may put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put that card in your hand, then shuffle. All you get for a 3-drop and then 4 activation, so 7 mana investment if you roll a perfect 20, which is a 5% shot, is a tutor. Really? Yeah, I don't say this very often, but Wizards could have cranked the power level up on this a little bit. Gain 50 life. There you go. I mean, okay, if you run 4 of these just because, I don't even know what deck this would possibly fit in, but you could throw in 1 copy in your deck of the biggest, baddest artifact in the game or in standard or whatever, and then just see if you could go fetch it and drop it straight into play. Make sure it's a creature. I mean, there's some pretty badass ones, so like this isn't that bad, but overall, even just what you get, I don't think this is worth the 7 mana investment. That's like 2 turns. No matter what you roll, I don't like it. And my God, if you invest in 7 and roll a 1, holy shit. So next up, you see a guard approach. I gotta say, I didn't mind it in the flavor text. I kind of mind it and think it's kind of cheap, stupid, gimmicky, and cringe to put like common cliche D&D phrases as the title of the spell. I mean, that's not a spell title. For the last 26 years, the game has been in existence. They haven't titled spells like that. So I just don't like it. Anyway, it's a 1-cost blue spell. Choose one. Distract the guard, tap target creature, or hide. Target creature you control gains hexproof until end of turn. I actually love the flavor on the rest of this. Just hate the name. This is a pretty good card. So next up, we got Circle of Dreams Druid. It's a triple green, which we do still have Devotion technically in the game, although it was a flop and a complete disappointment. But it's a 2/1 elf druid, and if you tap it, you just get 1 green for each creature you control, which is kind of insane. But it's not going to help you ramp early game. So I would even hesitate to put 4 of these in, to be honest. Now, this alone with like, what is it, Nylea something or Karametra Acolyte or one of those old school last time we were in Theros things, the devotion mana generators. I mean, this is a little short from devotion, but at the same time it grants devotion, so they kind of work with each other, but you don't need them both out. So it's like, will somebody just automatically jump on this? Probably not. I'd almost say it's more of an automatic include in an elf tribal deck, aka Elf Ball, aka the worst tribal deck ever. Yes, it's worse than Slivers, thanks for asking. So yeah, I just generally don't like this card. Next up, Plundering Barbarian. That is how you open the chest. Lockpicking is for sissies. So it's a 3-cost 2/2 Dwarf Barbarian, and when it enters the battlefield, choose one, smash the chest, destroy target artifact, or pry it open. Create a treasure token. Fantastic, I love it. Next up, you come to a river. Another one of these. It's 2-cost blue spell instant. You could fight the current, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. So we all know how fording the river went, about as well as Oregon Trail. And then we've got Find a Crossing. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn and can't be blocked this turn. Oh, that could be abused. I'm not sure we have anything in the modern format that does that for 2, to be honest, so this might be like a new thing. I feel like the fact that they put this on a common, it almost can't be, but who knows. Oh, I think there's a 1-cost called like Slip Through or something like that. Okay. Well, anyway, good spell. Next up we got Cave of the Frost Dragon. It's a man-land, and it turns into a 3/4 white dragon for 5 mana with flying, and it still lands, so... Oh boy. You are losing access to a combined 6 mana because you can't pay with this land, but you're also losing it. Plus granted vigilance and tap it later, I don't know. So all that to do 3 damage in the air, it's not good. Next up we got the Black Staff of Waterdeep. I think I currently possess that actually in the campaign that we're running. It's a 1-cost blue legendary artifact. You may choose not to untap the Black Staff of Waterdeep during your untap step. I wonder, let's find out. Animate Walking Statue. If you pay 2 and tap it, another target non-token artifact you control becomes a 4/4 artifact creature for as long as the Black Staff of Waterdeep remains tapped. Okay. Activate only as a sorcery. Kinda neat. I mean, it's just End Soul artifact, but okay. Next up, Devour Intellect. Oh good, an Intellect Devourer. Everybody hates those. So, target opponent discards a card for 1 mana because of course, and if mana from a treasure was spent to cast this spell, instead that player reveals their hand, you choose a non-land card from it, then that player discards that card. Well, hand disruption that early should not be in the game anymore. Sincerely, me and most pro players. That's all I gotta say about this pile of shit. So next up we got Guild Thief. It's a 2-cost 1/1 Orc Rogue, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on it, and then Cunning Action. If you pay 4, Guild Thief can't be blocked this turn. They are playing with fire with these unblockable effects, I'm telling you guys. It's still a 1/1, but it is a rogue. I think there's an on-hit effect with that, or a swing effect, or whatever. So yeah, I kind of don't like this. It's probably not very good, though. Next up, we got Dawnbringer Cleric. It's a 2-cost human cleric in white. When it enters battlefield, Cure Wounds. You gain 2 life. Dispel magic. Destroy target enchantment. Or Gentle Repose. Exile target card from a graveyard. So kind of neat little utility card there. Should be interesting in a draft. Next up, You Hear Something on Watch. Great. So 2 costs, white instant. Choose 1, rouse the party. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Or set off traps. This spell deals 5 damage to target attacking creature. Ooh, you activated my trap card. I mean, it's an offensive boost and a defensive basically kill spell, but not quite there because that would be OP for 2 in common. So they dialed it back. It's not going to blow up the biggest of the big, but this is a pretty damn good card right there. Next up, finally, Gelatinous Cube. We've all been waiting for it. So it's a 4-cost 4/3 in black of all things, wouldn't have thought. And it has Engulf. When it enters battlefield, exile target non-ooze creature an opponent controls until Gelatinous Cube leaves the battlefield. And then Dissolve if you pay X plus black. Put target creature card with mana value X exiled with Gelatinous Cube into its owner's graveyard. So if you can pay its CMC or mana value, whatever, you can get rid of it and kill it. Otherwise, it's going to be there until this leaves play. The thing is, you can use this ability at instant speed, though, so that's kind of neat. Next up, Bull's Strength. Yeah, those potions are basically cocaine. It's a 2-cost green instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 and gains trample until end of turn, and then also untap it. Ooh, Pseudo Vigilance, but after you've already tapped it. Kind of nice. Next up, we got an old school Papyrus Frame from the original books, I assume, Manticore. It's a 4-cost black creature, flash and flying, and then tail spikes. When Manticore enters the battlefield, destroy target creature an opponent controls that was dealt damage this turn, but it's a mere 2/1 flying for 4. This is just not a good card. They have some obsession with making Manticores not good. I don't know what it is, but it's been like, we're on like year 10 of this. Next up, we got another modal spell that tells a story. You see a pair of goblins as the 3-cost red instant. Choose one. Charge them. Creatures you control get +2/+0 till end of turn. Nice. Or befriend them. Create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. Nice. I like it. Next up, choose your weapon. It's a 3-cost green instant, and 2-weapon fighting is one of the modes. Double target creature's power and toughness until end of turn. Nice. And then archery. This spell deals 5 damage to target creature with flying. Nice. Lot of good options utility cards. I mean, this is like Plummet Plus. So next up, we've got the classic 50 Feet of Rope. It's a 1-cost colorless artifact, and it actually has recurring abilities. So you got Climb Over. Target wall can't block this turn. When would that ever be relevant? Then we've got Tie Up. You pay 3 and tap it. Target creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. So kind of like Pacification Array, except that you got to repay that every time. That's kind of high. And then Rappel Down. Pay 4, tap it, venture into the dungeon. Activate only as a sorcery. So all 3 of them are drastically different, and none have almost anything to do with a particular deck archetype. So kind of a failure of a card here, but we'll see. It is nice for dungeon decks, but my god, 4 mana every time you want to move through the dungeon? So next up, we've got Grazilax, Illithid Scholar. I hate these guys so much. So it's 3-cost horror, 3/2, and whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, you may return it to its owner's hand. Okay, but then you have to recast it. Then whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. There it is. Well, that's a way to swing once and then never let them resolve another spell for the rest of the game, so that's pretty broken in blue. Next up, we've got Orb of Dragonkind. It's a 2-cost red artifact, and if you pay 1, add 2 mana in any combination of colors. Spend this mana only to cast dragon spells or activate abilities of dragons, and then if you pay 1 red and tap it, sacrifice Orb of Dragonkind, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may reveal a dragon card from among them and put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order, and I am totally sick of cards with this many damn words on them, because every single freaking time that somebody plays something like this, I have to read every sentence on the damn thing to remember what it does. I've resorted to just giving up if I don't remember what it is, and just whatever happens, happens. Whatever. Fawakun Trap, I don't care. I'm watching YouTube while I'm playing Arena, so you know what? F it. So what does this do again? I don't know. I tuned out halfway through myself reading it. Who gives a shit? So next up, Werewolf Pack Leader. It's a 2-cost. God, the furries are going to like this one. And then it's a 3/3 and Pack Tactics. Okay. Except that the effect with power 6 or greater is draw a card, because once again, green clearly did not have enough card draw. And then if you pay 4 until end of turn, it has base power and toughness 5/3, gains trample, and isn't a human. But when it's in human form, it's still a werewolf. I mean, I guess that's probably canonically true. Well, that probably should have been at sorcery speed, because the fact that you can do that in the middle of combat after they've already chosen to block it or not to block it is ridiculous. 4 is kind of a lot, though. Next up, we got the Book of Vile Darkness, another mythic. Oh boy, it's a triple black, nice for devotion, legendary artifact. At the beginning of your end step, this has too damn many words on it. Is anyone else sick of this shit? It can't just be me. Remember, this is supposed to be a core set, okay? It's supposed to be new player friendly. So at the beginning of your end step, if you lost 2 or more life this turn, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token, then tap it, exile the Book of Vile Darkness, and artifacts you control named Eye of Vecna and Hand of Vecna. Create Vecna, a legendary 8/8 black zombie god creature token with indestructible. It gains all triggered abilities of the exiled cards. Instead of calling it the Book of Vile Darkness, why don't they just call it the Book of Putting Vecna back together? Well, anyway, I don't know what those 2 do yet, so I can't really judge this card. So let's move on. Next up, we got Black Dragon. Told ya, colored dragon cycle. I'm literally psychic. 7-cost 4/4 dragons, that's garbage. And then Acid Breath. When it enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -3/-3 until end of turn. Well, this is garbage. So next up, we've got Moon Blessed Cleric. It's 3-cost 3/2 in white, human elf cleric. So in other words, a half elf, but guess I didn't feel like putting that on there. And then Divine Intervention. When Moon Blessed Cleric enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an enchantment card, reveal it, then shuffle it, and put that card on top. That is commonly insanely powerful. So next up, Green Dragon, costs only 6, which, yeah, of course, we all know that green is really short on mana all the time, so that makes sense. Remember, the black one costs 7. So Poison Breath, when it enters battlefield, until end of turn, whenever a creature an opponent controls is dealt damage, destroy it. Also known as grant all your creatures Death Touch. I don't know why they couldn't have just put that. Oh, probably because of that Infect card. Anyway, Adult Golden Dragon, okay. So, lot of dragons in this set. We actually knew that they leaked the information that there's a ton of dragon type cards in an article like yesterday, I think. Anyway, red, white, cool, 5 cost, 4/3, flying lifelink haste. Now that's a proper card right there. Well, I don't remember if a golden dragon is a metallic dragon. I don't think it is, but I did predict that as well, and I've been 100% right so far, so, well, here we go. Next up, Dueling Rapier. It's a 1-cost red artifact equipment with flash, and when it enters battlefield, attach it to target creature you control, and then equipped creature gets +2/+0, and then it has equip 4. So another free equip and then completely unbalanced equip. I hate the one-and-done, one-shot artifacts. That is literally the complete opposite of how an artifact, or equipment, I should say, is supposed to work. You're supposed to be able to use it over and over and over. It's supposed to, give your opponent tons of warning. This is just so stupid. So next up, Ebondeath Dracolich. It's a 4-cost, 5/2 mythic. Here we go. Flash and flying. Interesting. And it enters the battlefield tapped. Oh, this is a little different than how Mark presented it. I said that you could resurrect it every other turn. In reading it now, that's not true, and it comes in tapped anyway. But you may cast Ebondeath Dracolich from your graveyard if a creature not named Ebondeath Dracolich died this turn. But if one that was named that died, then that's fine as long as something else died. At least that's the way I read it. So yeah, this could come back over and over and over, but at least it comes in tapped. But it's the same thing at the end of the day. You can use it every other turn, basically. But yeah, Eternal Resurrectors. Very, very, very annoying, even when there isn't an on death and on enter the battlefield effect. And you add those and it goes into ridiculous territory. So next up, you find the Villain's Lair. It's a 3-cost blue instant, and foil their scheme, counter target spell, or learn their secrets, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. So a counterspell heavy enabler. Great. Fantastic. That's what we need to encourage, is a card draw heavy blue counterspell deck. Thanks, Wizards. Next up, Ochre Jelly. They are usually called jellies, actually, not oozes, but we'll see what they translate it to. So, it's green plus X, and it's a rare, so this is going to be good. Trample, as if oozes have trample, but okay. Ochre Jelly enters the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it, and then Divide. Oh, here we go. When it dies, if it had 2 or more 1/1 counters, create a token that's a copy of it at the beginning of the next end step. That token enters the battlefield with half of those +1/+1 counters, rounded down. Oh, I thought for sure they were going to split it right in 2. So yeah, that's, pretty good. Next up, Inspiring Bard. It's a 4-cost 3/3 elf bard, and when it enters the battlefield, choose 1 Bardic Inspiration. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn, or Song of Rest, you gain 3 life. I hate elves. Next up, Battlecry Goblin. It's a 2-cost creature goblin 2/2. If you pay 2, goblins you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. And then it has Pack Tactics, so 6 or greater total combat power, swinging, whatever. And obviously free summon a dragon, because we all know what deck you're playing. But then in addition to that, from this card, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking. So almost as powerful as summoning an unlimited size dragon. So it makes sense that this costs twice as much mana as the card that does do that. What the f*** were they thinking? Did they even playtest this set? So next up, Hobgoblin Captain. It's a 3/1 for 2, so that'll be pretty decent. Goblin Barbarian and Pack Tactics. So this one is first strike till end of turn. Oh boy. Can't wait for Red Russian Pack Tactics. They'll have to ban half the cards in it. Next up, White. It's a 2-cost 3/2 zombie soldier. It enters tapped and it has life drain. Whenever a creature dealt damage by White this turn dies, create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token and exile that card. But it has to have been dealt damage by White, and he's only a 3/2, so I mean, okay. If you trade it, then you get a 2/2, so it's a good chump blocker. Next up, Baleful Beholder. Here we go. It's a 6-cost 6/5, and when it enters battlefield, choose 1 anti-magic cone. Each opponent sacrifices an enchantment. It's not consistent with how anti-magic works or that other card. Saw that coming a mile away. And then Fear Ray. Creatures you control gain menace until end of turn. So a Beholder with basically 1 Ray ability. And it's not like a baby Beholder, Beholder Jr., Eye Tyrant or Eye Beast or whatever. No, it's a full-blown, fully grown Beholder, and I guess his other 7 eyes just do nothing. Okay. Next up, oh no, it's Wish. That's like a level 8 or 9 spell, and it's ridiculous. So, 3 cost, sorcery, rare, great. You may play a card you own from outside the game this turn. Saw that bullshit coming? Well, it's a sorcery. It does absolutely dead-ass nothing, and you burn 3 of your mana on it, so, you know, good luck getting this to work, but, and it's in red, the lowest mana ramp color, so at least they handled this kind of correctly, but I still hate it. Just on principle, I hate it. So next up, we got Ranger's Hawk. Oh, if you guys are curious, if Wizards ever gives you a spoiler, the best way to never get one ever again is to put your stupid fucking name stamped right across the fucking card. So anyway, it's a 1-cost 1/1 with the flying, and if you pay 3 and tap it, tap another untapped creature you control, venture into the dungeon, activate only as a sorcery. So most, if not, you know, up to like half of the average mana you've got in a turn is gone, and you lost access to your flyer, and all you get out of it is proceeding through a dungeon. Yeah, this is garbage. Next up, Intrepid Outlander. It's a 2-cost 2/3 with reach, pack tactics, power 6 or greater, you know how it works. Venture into the dungeon. Oh, thank God that was the last one. Good. I'm sick of looking at these. So yeah, too many broken cards, too many unfair cards. They didn't 100% stick to D&D that well. I mean, it's cool to finally see beholders and shit on cards, but even the roll a D20, it's 7 freaking mana to get it out and use it once, and you don't even get to use it more than once. This is really just like a mix of broken, unfair, unbalanced shit and disappointments. I'm only really excited about maybe 2 of the cards that I saw so far, and we've seen 52 cards just in this video alone. So, very, very disappointing set. Very disappointing product. That's a shame. Well, anyway, hopefully it'll improve later, but I think we've seen, like, what? 2/3 of the mythics and rares? So I doubt it. Seriously, no idea why they decided to spoil them in this order like this. It's just weird. So get ready for a bunch of filler jank in the next, or at least the last couple days of the spoilers. But we might see something interesting tomorrow. So tune in for that, and I'll see you guys next time.